Welcome in, everybody, to Leading Off right here on Fantasy Bros, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, with me today. That's it. It's Fantasy Pros and Fantasy Bros. That's
I was
what
about
it
to say,
is.
I wasn't sure. Did
Yeah,
you know you said bros and just kept
I
moving?
did. I meant to say
All right.
pros. It's Monday. It was very, very hot here yesterday, actually all weekend in New Jersey. And for
Yeah,
the bald man, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I'm familiar with the heat.
Yes, I see that. Welsh has gone full full buzz cut to
It's
look
one
a
of my
little bit more like
variants.
me
This
today
is
on the
this is one
YouTube
of my
channel.
Welsh variants that everybody's getting to see. This is
The
the
Welsh variants.
yeah. I don't know which
Oh,
variant this is yet, but this is one of the many looks. And if you go back and look, someone should do this at the end of the season. Joe, you are consistent. You are consistent of consistency.
no,
Myself,
I get the beard sometimes.
okay, you know what? That's
Things
true.
get a little rocky with the beard. I do that's like me in October. It's like it's week 7. Try to get through the season. I think that happens
Okay,
soon.
so you might be like two variants, but I'm going to be like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If people at the end go and look, if you take pictures, because I had the glasses look, I'll have the beard, I'll have the no beard, I got the long hair, I'll have the hat.
Well, the
It's just one
glasses
of the
was
many
great.
variants. Yeah,
The glasses was a beautiful thing. There's no doubt about that. And
I mean, it wasn't, but
I look forward
you
to your
know,
Disney Plus series, which I know is going to be fantastic. Because
yeah,
everybody's getting a Disney Plus series at this point. I mean, just
I
everyone.
could use it.
So the Welsh and I are going to break down everything that happened. The Fantasy Bros of Fantasy Pros are going to tell you everything that happened in the world of Major League Baseball. And this is huge news, everybody, because before you even start, we are so close. Look at this.
Ah,
6.97 thousand subscribers. We are so close to 7K on our YouTube
what are
channel,
we doing here?
youtube.com/fantasypros MLB. I'm asking you if we've ever made you laugh, if we've ever helped you out with a trade, helped you out picking up a player. Now's the time. We're 300 subscribers away from getting to the big 7K mark. Let's go.
You know what I should have
Subscribe
done?
today and like the video. Yes,
I
Welsh.
if I were thinking in my right brain, I should have offered once we hit 7,000, we would shave my head live on the show. That
Yeah,
would probably be,
that would have
and
been
we
good.
just do like a big buzz right in the middle, that super uncomfortable thing. There's nothing more disconcerting than when you have like, like grown out long full hair and then you do the buzz in the middle and you find where you're balding and then you just kind of your life flashes before your eyes. That would have been a really good look with that buzz right down the middle for everybody. But next time, let's get to 7K.
I think it's funny too that like you and Bogman like Bogman every now and then will shave his beard, which he did and sent me a picture on Friday. And
Yeah,
I love whenever Bogman shaves his beard, let me tell you, he looks like a
it's quite a
totally
look.
different person. There's a lot of funny jokes. I'm going to send you that thread, by the way, between the two of us. But look, here we go. I'm sorry, we're only 30 away, not 300 away. 30.
30.
Let's go. We're only 30 away. That's where we are. Okay, not 30. All right. So let's go. Come on, everybody. No
I
excuses. I want this
mean,
to happen today. 7,000 subscribers. They said it could never happen, but they're wrong. All right, let's get to some of our great MLB content here. Let's just jump right in. We had Adley Rutschman debut. Very exciting. We'll talk more about him in a moment. Mike Trout hits his 12th home run on Sunday versus the A's. Shohei Ohtani hit a ball that hasn't landed yet over the greenery in
that
dead
was
center field. It's
amazing.
a tremendous home
Yeah.
run. Manny Machado continues to just be amazing. 4 hits for him. And then, of course, you had the little double dip in the Bronx, which I wasn't sure how much we were going to get into or not get into, but it is kind of a baseball talk right now. It's not really fantasy related. It's not really betting related, but I thought about this whole thing with Tim Anderson and with Josh Donaldson, and
Mm.
I took my time this morning to really think about this and measure my words carefully about all of this.
Let's hear
Now,
it.
Josh Donaldson has a history. Chris Meany one time interviewed Josh Donaldson, and I asked him after, I
Really?
was like, how did it go? And Chris Meany, our good friend, friend of the show for many, many years, and a good personal friend of mine, might be the nicest human being on the planet.
I
He
would say
is
that's probably accurate.
super Canadian, just a brilliantly wonderful, kind human being. And he
Yep.
was like, that guy's kind of off-putting. That was his big takeaway. He's like,
I've
really
had a
just
couple of
didn't get
those.
a
I've had
good
a couple
feeling
of
from
those
him.
in my time, even with prospects. I've had a
Right?
couple of guys that
Right.
were kind of off-putting. Major leaguers are a little bit more frightening because they're more established in their life, where
Right.
they're willing to go more full off-putting. Like I could tell you a couple prospects right now that once they get that money, they get that comfortability, they'll probably go into that comfortable uncomfortableness, if you will.
All right. Well, Josh Donaldson obviously made a remark. He called Tim Anderson Jackie, like Jackie Robinson, like in that article from
Yeah.
2019, I think it was, where Tim Anderson was saying that he wants to be like Jackie Robinson, or he sees himself as Jackie Robinson, somebody bringing a fun intensity and a different style of play. He wasn't trying to say, hey, I'm, knocking down barriers and things like that. He wasn't being hyperbolic in that sense in terms of the Jackie Robinson, because that would be foolish thing to say because of what Jackie Robinson endured.
And
but
I think
clearly,
Donaldson had said it to him after this happened. I think Donaldson had that to be his little thing, apparently.
Right. And again, that was his little thing maybe 3 years ago. But there's been a lot of things that have happened in this country in the last 3 years. And I think that Tim Anderson also has dealt with a lot of things in the last 3 years too. Also, let's not forget, Josh Donaldson has got into it before with some other players, Lucas Giolito. Like there's been a lot of guys that Donaldson has gotten into it with before.
Donaldson's the new Machado, by the way. I just want to point out, if you remember, Machado used to be the guy that got into it for everybody. That was his MO, and it's now Donaldson. They, he passed on the torch to Donaldson to just be the biggest, doof in baseball.
Yeah, and I guess what I came to the conclusion is this. I do believe Josh Donaldson probably didn't mean anything racially about it. He seems very sincere. However, you have to be careful of what you say. And I think even if it wasn't taken that way at first, sometimes people do laugh things off because it's easier to laugh things off to get upset about it when it comes to these sort of moments. And I think 3 years later, maybe it's gotten to a point where the situation was different. It was heated between the two of them. It's the wrong thing to say in that moment. And Tim Anderson is right for being upset about it. And he has every right to be upset about it. But I will take it one step further too. I think it's also kind of, if you want to call yourself, or you see yourself as a Jackie Robinson mold, and that kind of person was so important to you and the class in which Jackie Robinson handled all these situations, then I think after the game too, you find a way to elevate the conversation instead of saying I shut those MFers up in Yankee Stadium, MF this, blah, blah, blah. So I think everybody can be better. That is where I've come to on this. I am more on the Tim Anderson side of this because I think it's important to understand that side of it a little bit more, but I think everybody can be better. I hope those two guys get together and figure it out and then have a more elevated conversation. So there you go. That is, I've really taken my time to kind of listen to everybody this morning, think about it, have my thoughts about it. And I'm bringing my thoughts to you, Welsh. I'm curious what your take is, if you even want to dip your toes in this water.
No, I mean, I kind of think just about the same thing. I think they're both, they're both complicit kind of like in the issue. I kind of agree. I don't think Donaldson had a bunch of necessary hate built around all of it, but he obviously doesn't have any like introspective nature to understand like you're being awful, like you are pressing somebody and this can be charged in a certain way. He's just like, I'm just like having fun, just boys being boys. And it's like, no, that ain't a boys being boys type of situation. I 100% see the instant how that could affect Tim Anderson and why he would be affected by it. And it's a good point. I'll tell you, one thing I didn't think about was, you want to be better in it. You try to elevate yourself above. I don't think there's many baseball players or many athletes right now that really push themselves above a certain situation to try to fix it. Everyone's very reactionary.
Edelman did
so I'm
a
not
couple
surprised
years ago.
at this.
Do you remember when there were anti-Semitic comments made and Julian Edelman reached out to the person and was like, I'm going to educate that person? I don't remember who it was about. Maybe someone in the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks can remind me.
That's good. Somebody
made some anti-Semitic, or they came off as anti-Semitic about something. And Julian Edelman, who takes it very seriously, said, hey, instead of killing this guy, I'm going to go and reach out to him and invite him to come to the Holocaust Museum with me. That's the kind of stuff we need, where we all just go, sure. I get it now. I think that's a better place to be. It's supposed to disciplining people and all these things. Like 162 games is a long season, man. And you're playing in 95-degree weather and it's hot and guys get physical sometimes. It's a lot of things that can get out of control. And I just think that Donaldson certainly can learn to be better because he has a track record. And Tim Anderson, if he really is truly inspired by Jackie Robinson, then it's not about eating it all the time. It's not about, dying at a young age because, of all the things that Jackie Robinson had to bear the burdens of. But I think you can bear the burden of find a little bit more of a class at the end of it all, because I think that's a better representation for everybody, for the kids who are watching the game. That's it. That's my 2 cents. Let's go talk the rest of the baseball show. All right. Michael Kopech was fantastic, by the way, in that game. Also, AJ Pollock with the go-ahead homer in the 9th in that first one. All right. Injuries. Freddie Peralta. Oh my God. I've got a team that's got DeGrom, Scherzer, and Freddie Peralta on it. And Welsh, I am not a happy camper.
You had a team.
Hey, I'm still in second place out of 15, baby, because I had Justin Verlander for $1 last year and I kept him. Woo! Ric Flair. Freddie Peralta had the same injury last year. Are we panicked? Because this is literally the same thing. They shut him down. Everybody panicked. He came back and he was gangbusters rest of the season. So it's just a matter of, hey, this is just the Freddie Peralta pathway, or should we be a little bit more concerned that it's twice in 2 years?
I would be concerned that it's twice in 2 years because we don't give passes to anybody that have multi-year injuries that are of the same like who gets the pass? Look at the hitters. Byron Buxton's been one of the best baseball players out there, and it's like his track record of injury follows him. So we should, especially with the pitcher, be a little bit concerned, but I think it's also it's volatility. He's a volatile type of pitcher. You know what you're getting in for. They've definitely pitched him higher. It's actually funny. I was looking at a lot of his props yesterday. I was very interested in betting on him, and ultimately I didn't. And I was really paying attention to pitch counts because he's someone that I feel like can go both ways, and they've pushed him this year. He's pushed, I think, all but maybe 2 starts. He had gone over 90 pitches in games. So they had really pushed him further and not babied him whatsoever. And then look what happens. And injuries kind of followed. So he can be awesome. Here's what I wonder. When he comes back, do they play the piggyback game? I see some of the chat is already throwing in some of those names. The Aaron Ashbys are out there. They've got this really great minor leaguer, Antoine Kelly, Ethan Small as well. There's a couple guys out there that I wonder if they start playing piggyback so you don't press Freddie Peralta to 90 to 100 pitches. Maybe that's part of the problem at the end of the day. And maybe they need to keep him. When he comes back, he can be great. But what if he is going to be pushed down a little bit and you piggyback Ashby? The Padres were doing it with Clevenger and Gore. I could see it something. Right. So again, do you freak out? Do you freak out about any of these guys? No, you don't go nuts, but I would be concerned. And any injury concern you would add to other pitchers that, Clayton Kershaw is alike, I would throw in with Freddie Peralta.
I would add Ashby if I had that opportunity to answer Eric's question. And I would also add insurance. That's what I would like to do. Also, good job here. Aaron over here said that it was Deshaun Jackson. So the Peanuts of the Cracker Jacks remind me of who that person was.
Good call.
So it was Deshaun Jackson. And I don't think it's something he meant to do or it came off that. Whatever it was, at the end of the day, it was insensitive. And it's okay to be insensitive. Everybody makes mistakes and says stupid things. My goodness. How many stupid things do I say in a day? Doesn't mean I can't learn from them and be better, but let's not let's find a way to elevate the conversation. I think that's the best thing we can do. Taylor Ward set to undergo an MRI exam on Monday. So all those people who yelled at me about, I just
Joe Adele time.
Nobody said that I didn't want anybody to get hurt. All I know is that Taylor Ward, when something's too good to be true, it always is. And I hope he's okay. It's just frustrating. So you say Joe Adele time. Is it just as simple as that?
Well, Joe Adele's been killing it in the minors. I think that's the play. You send him down to get regular bats to succeed. He's been doing that. He was the guy that was kind of he was the fallout of Taylor Ward getting the starting gig and being successful. Yeah, I think that's the play that they're going to have to do. If Ward is going to miss extended time, Adele's got to come back. And for the third time, try to show some maturation, try to show some growth, hitting a breaking pitch and not striking out 35% of the time. So I'd be interested in it. He's had a really, really successful run. As he's faltering between that quad A type of stuff right now. He kills AAA. He does not succeed at the majors. Something's going to have to bend at some point. And maybe this will be the shot. I'd be speculative adding Joe Adele right now.
All right. Chad Green is already having Tommy John surgery. Now Aroldis Chapman is dealing with an Achilles injury. What do you do with this Yankees bullpen right now? Is there somebody in particular you are cherry picking?
Oh, go get Chad Holmes. You get him yesterday. Chad Holmes. If Chapman were to miss serious time, there's a serious conversation going on. Even if Chapman doesn't miss any time, that Holmes might need to be the guy that takes over the closing role. He's already got 4 saves. He's got a boatload of wins. He's actually been probably the most valuable reliever in fantasy baseball right now. If he were to take over that closing gig, Clay Holmes, Clay Holmes, I would probably say he immediately jumps in as top 4 closers in baseball. So Holmes would be the guy that you go pick up yesterday, and everyone should be speculating right now.
Yeah. And by the way, Aaron's crushing it today. Aaron is the MVP of the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks, crushing it. He has the right Holmes. He's got the right Deshaun Jackson call in there. Aaron, well done.
Award,
well done.
MVP.
I love the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. MVP.
It's the
Let's talk
Peanuts and
about
Cracker
this.
Jack MVP award for the day. Is Aaron
There you
Gillen.
go. You get my undying respect and some crop reviver from Manscaped. That's what you get for your balls.
Yes.
All right,
clean it.
let's go to the minor leagues for a second because Adley Rutschman came up and is now a Baltimore Oriole. Beautiful moment where he came out behind home plate, soaked in the crowd. It's beautiful. He seems like the best kid ever. Certainly switch hitting catcher. You look at the minor league track record over 179 games at 282 with a 391 OBP, a 488 slugging, an 878 OPS. Typically speaking, big time young catchers tend to struggle because they're learning they're trying to figure out the pitching staff. They have a lot of
There's a lot
responsibility.
going
It's not so
on.
much a fantasy team. There's a
100%.
lot going on.
There's you're learning two things on the fly. Not that you don't know how to be a catcher, but catching, starting pitchers and calling games and finding the rhythm is quite an undertaking.
Mhm.
Though many believe, and Grayson Rodriguez, his teammate, believes this guy's going to go down as the greatest catcher of all time. Obviously you got to pump up your guys, but Grayson touts.
Well, and Grayson also Rodriguez is also 15 years old, so in his mind, who's that?
Well,
guy? Mike Piazza, is that who he thinks it is? Like, come on.
No, I know what you're saying. A funny thing though, what'll be really interesting to see is Adley has gotten DL Hall and Grayson Rodriguez to around a 2 ERA when he catches them, and when he doesn't, those guys have ballooned up into the 5s and whatnot. I mean, Grayson is a phenomenal catcher, but to your point, you're learning your staff, you're learning that thing, and then you're also learning to hit at major league level. The thing about him though is this is an advanced hitter. This is a big bat who doesn't need power. His first major league hit was a stand-up triple, though, probably call it a double because I think it went past. I don't remember what it was. I think I saw also Mayer immediately.
What a surprise.
His first comment was, okay, he gets his first hit, but do we really have to say that's a triple? I mean, he immediately crapped on his first major league hit. I mean, it did. It went past the guy, bobbled. I don't remember which one it was, but advanced hitter. But you do have to be a little bit cautious, of course, especially with rookie catchers.
Yeah. All right. Let's go through some other things here. So Adley Rutschman up, and look, the moon and the stars for this kid. Like, I want him to be great right out of the gate, but if he struggles a little bit, just understand there's just a lot of responsibility at that position. And I'm not going to make the Matt Wieters comparison because I'll be honest with you. I'm old enough to remember when Matt Wieters came up and we heard the same thing. The same thing. Well, this guy's going to revolutionize the catcher position. He's going to be the best hitting catcher, best offensive catcher, a perennial all-star. He was none of those things. Watching Rutschman in tape that I've watched him over the years, totally different hitter, totally different thing. I think this guy is that good. But again, just remember there is a range of outcomes here, but you should be very excited that he's up. And you called this. You said, hey, there's going to be more. And now that Nolan Gorman's up, there's going to be another wave. So I guess here's the next one.
That wave is starting up for sure.
Well, is that wave going to bring us Oniel Cruz and Mason Martin, who both homered this weekend as well? The Pirates, the poor Pirate fans have to sit there and watch this drivel. Why can't they get at least Oniel Cruz up? What the hell, Welsh?
Yeah, the Oniel Cruz one is pretty crazy. So a couple of the things, they just called up Roansy Contreras, who is nuts. And if he gets a starting rotation shot, he's very interesting. I don't know about Mason Martin. He's got huge, massive power. This guy, his whole family like bodybuilders. Like, he's going to be some just nuts, muscle-bound freak who's going to hit big bombs, but he hits like 240. Oniel, I think they're dealing with some stuff because it sounds like they're making the big move to outfield for him, and he doesn't want it. He even said in an interview, he's like, I don't want to play in the outfield. So I think there's a transitional period that they're still dealing with. He's not hitting the cover off the ball. I've never been a big Oniel Cruz guy. He's not destroying AAA, but he's getting his hitting up and learning another great.
Position. I mean, Polanco was a huge disappointment. Marte was very good, but there was another one in between there. I mean, Josh Bell is another one I thought was just always okay. Like, I thought he would be an okay player, and he turned out to be Austin Meadows. Everybody knows my Austin Meadows things I've gone on for years and years about how overrated Austin Meadows was, and he's fine. He's just fine. I don't know if he's special.
He's fine.
Fun facts. Let's go to fun facts. Here's a Manny Machado fun fact. Manny Machado became the first player in Major League Baseball history, with 3 doubles, a triple, 3 runs scored, and a walk in a single game. The history of Major League Baseball. Manny Machado is the only guy to do that this weekend. That is kind of
wildly weird to me. I love those stats, by the way. Those are my favorite about baseball, where someone cherry picks something we'll never talk about in the history. There will be 2 generations of fantasy pros analysts that'll come on here, and we'll never talk about, hey, who's that last guy that had 3 doubles, a triple, 3 runs, and a walk in a game? It's something special about baseball that it always provides us, something we'll never talk about again.
All right, here's a fun trivia question. At which ballpark has Albert Pujols hit the most home runs as a visiting player? Most home runs as a visiting player for Albert Pujols. If anybody knows the answer, drop it in the chat. And again, you will get my undying respect. Again, and if you want to make comments, you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So don't forget, we're only 30 away. I don't know. Maybe we've gotten a couple just since the beginning of the show, but make sure you subscribe. We've also got the 2 videos coming out a week. We're doing the waiver wire video, the buy low, sell high video. So you don't have to read stuff on the website. I just talk to you because, it's like the Audible version of Fantasy Pros. So that's what I've got here. Someone says Pittsburgh. Someone says Cincinnati. No, that is not correct. You would think maybe perhaps, but nope. As a visiting player, there's another one. So we'll get to that a little later on. Let's move on to the next segment here. And let's talk about this day in baseball, May 23rd, 2002. I remember this game. Sean Green, then playing for the Dodgers, goes 6 for 6 in Milwaukee with 4 home runs, 7 ribbies, and 19 total bases. So needless to say, he hit the over on the 1.5 he probably had that day.
Funny thing about Sean,
was a thing
Sean Green will always have this little tiny place in my heart. When I was very, very younger and I worked for a sports radio station, we were doing a live broadcast outside of Chase Field. And it was right before the season started, and they were bringing in players to us to interview. Brandon Webb came down, a couple other players, and the PR person comes up to me and says, I can get, you can have Sean Green, or we can get you Stephen Drew. And as a prospect person, I immediately was like, Stephen Drew. And then I just shooed Sean Green aside to never be interviewed and go off into obscurity when he played his 1 season with the Diamondbacks. And it was all Stephen Drew the time for that. And then that worked out like, so.
Did not work out. No. And look at Mayor pretending like here's Joe claiming to remember something ridiculous again. No, I remember it because I was playing fantasy baseball while Mike Mayer was in 5th grade. So yeah. So I remember this. I remember.
I also remember. A couple of those 4 homers. Bogman and I have had many discussions about how the 4 homer game is equivalent to a perfect game for a pitcher, where the cycle is equivalent to a no-hitter. They actually kind of intertwine. Like There's not a whole lot because
stuff right there.
You can kind of remember those. I think Luis Gonzalez had a 4 home run game. Like there's not a lot. It's very, very minimal. And I equate it to like that type of impressiveness. And by the way, I did see somebody in the chat nail the question.
Because the correct answer is Houston. That's right.
It was Mark.
Where he hit a ball. Mark, Minute Maid Park is correct. That's where Albert Pujols is the most road home runs. He hit one off Brad Lidge that still hasn't landed, if you remember.
the most memorable, probably the most memorable homer of Albert Pujols' career. If you're not like a big Albert Pujols fan, that's the one. The Brad Lidge homer is the one.
There you go. All right. Boy, Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are crushing it today. Yeah, let's do the stat heroes in one breath for the pitchers. Zach Eflin, 12 Ks, 2 earned. Nady Eovaldi, 11 Ks, 2 earned over 6 2/3. Shane Bieber, 7 innings, 10 Ks. Jose Urquidy, 10 Ks as well, 1 earned over 6 2/3. Christian Javier, 1 earned over 6, 9 Ks. Justin Steele, 5 scoreless innings, 9 Ks. Justin Verlander, again, 6 innings, 8 Ks. Sandy Alcantara, 7 Ks, 9 innings pitch. And Patrick Sandoval, 7 Ks, 1 earned over 7. Pretty good. Deep breath. I didn't get through all of them. Also, Hunter Green, 6 Ks, 1 earned over 6 innings. So for everybody freaking out about Hunter Green, I told you, just stop freaking out. Just give the kid some time. He's just a boy.
He's changed.
Just a boy.
Well, it's not even just a boy. He made a very, very big, this is actually something we were breaking down on ITL, and he did it again in this last start, and it has equated to 3 good starts. Because I was watching this game because I actually had a couple different bets on the game. One of the bets is I was betting Hunter Green walks, and I had it 2.5, and he hit 2. But the last 3 starts, Hunter Green, the change he's made is he's throwing his slider more than his fastball now. I mean, he is concertedly like 50-ish, 60% sliders, and he is going heavy early pitch sliders. That's something he's never done in his career before. And if you look past the last 3 starts, he was fastball 55-60% of the time. Ever since he has gone so dominant slider and that fastball's been set up, he's finding great results, and his pinpoint command right now with the slider is what is getting him really, really, really good starts. And if this continues, he's going to be rough.
Stevenson was on the IL when he had that blow up start, wasn't he? Tyler Stevenson wasn't healthy
I
yet, was he?
believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, because that's the other thing that's changed recently in the last couple of weeks
Sure.
is that you've also had a real catcher come in there and call his games. Who knows what he's doing?
Lots of guys
Also,
want their
some
own
of the
catchers. We've seen that over many, many
yeah.
years where you need specific catchers who understand. I think it's a little bit different now with like PitchCom and they're
Mhm.
scheduling out a whole bunch more. But I would love to know the details of who made the decision for Hunter Green. Was it himself? Was it a Tyler Stevenson? How is that
Maybe it
working?
was a
But you are
collective
seeing a
decision. Who
result.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, results are all that matters. Josh Rojas got results 3 for 5 with 3 home runs on Friday. But he ended up leaving the game after being hit by a pitch that he swung at. So that's an interesting one. Patrick
Mhm.
Wisdom 4 for 11 with 3 home runs over the weekend. I did not have Patrick
Dang.
Wisdom. Randy Rosarena heating up, like I told everybody. So if you made the trade on Friday for Randy Rosarena for Taylor Ward, like I told you in the video too, you did pretty well this weekend. 8 for 13, 2 home runs, 3 walks, a steal, hitting 321 with 4 home runs in the month of May. Bo
Mm.
Bichette, 3 for 12 with 2 home runs. Mookie Betts had 2 dingers this weekend. Trevor Story, after the great game, just 2 for 11, but those 2 were 2 home runs over the last 8 games, still looking much better
Nuts.
than he was. Will Myers, 5 for 14 with 2 doubles. Manny Machado, we talked about at the top of the show, just incredible. And Tommy Edman continues to be very steady, 7 for 16 with a stolen base. A lot of people had soured on
Eddie Eddie,
Tommy
man.
Edman in drafts this year. He has really kind of stuck it to those people that thought he was just kind of a flukish kind of player. He's a very steady, dink and doink kind of hitter. But at the end of the day, man, he hustles, he plays hard, and he fills the stat sheet. He plays above his potential talent, and I think people sometimes can't wrap their mind around that. So good for Tommy Edman. Where were you on the Tommy Edman train? I was just
I
curious
was a
where it
little
was because I don't
indifferent.
recall.
I mean, I had him, firmly inside the top 100. He wasn't a big draft target. I do think I was a little bit more in the, it's all going to kind of come back down a little bit. They also have some pieces around this team that were going to be coming up. But I saw somebody say this a little while back. I can't recall who it was, but Edmund has been everything that we wanted out of Whit Merrifield. He has had some
This
power.
year,
He's been
yes.
stealing bases. Yeah, this year, of course. And it's a game changer. So hey, Tommy Edmond, you can play multiple positions. He's now going to be playing shortstop with that qualification. He's hitting, he's running, he is everything that you want. So shame on any of us that did not like Tommy Edmond.
All right, here's the bad news. We talked about Chapman already. Having some issues physically and on the mound. Obviously, it's affecting him. Kyle Bradish, 5 earned runs. Bryce Wilson, 7 earned runs. Keuchel, 6 earned. I think Keuchel's going to be out of this rotation sooner than later.
Yeah,
Trevor Rogers continues to struggle, gave up 3 home runs, 5 earned. Garrett Whitlock, terrible start for him after
horrible.
he had been pretty good, 5 earned runs. So let's not freak out there. Could be an opportunity to buy Whitlock. They need him in that rotation.
I mean, also, I would
Here's
say besides a
Yeah, go ahead.
rotation, real quick, they could probably
Mhm.
use a closer as well. And Whitlock
Yeah.
was meant to be the closer, so he's a weird situation where if they
Mhm.
don't, if that doesn't work, just slide him over back into that like high
Maybe.
leverage role, and he would have value.
Here we go. Luis Robert, 2 for 14, 6 Ks. Alec Boehm, 5 Ks, 2 for 13. Jared Walsh, 0 for 7 with 5 Ks. I'd still buy Jared Walsh. We have Yasmani Grandal, 2 for 14 with 4 Ks. Jorge Mateo, 0 for 14 with 4 Ks. And Brian Hayes, 2 for 14 with 1 K. This is the problem. Pittsburgh prospects continue to just not live up to the hype. This is another one. Brian Hayes. We kept on. Brian
Developmental
Hayes
stuff.
should be a real nice player. And I think we had our lower expectations for Hayes not to be a star. But I mean, he's not getting it done well. He is just frankly not getting it done. And this is why Pittsburgh is where Pittsburgh is, because the scouting department has not done a good enough job of bringing back pieces in these trades, these mega trades that they made, bringing back the wrong prospects, or then bringing back the right prospects like Joe Musgrove and then flipping them because they can't get Joe Musgrove to be Joe Musgrove. So
Well,
I
they're
can
like
understand the
fantasy
frustration
owners
for
to me,
Pirate fans.
actually. It reminds me of dynasty fantasy owners specifically, where, you put all of your eggs into this basket of building up these prospects, and then they come up, they don't succeed, and then you just move on. And they really struggle. I think their scouting department is actually good. They were really known to have issues with developmental stuff. So like they were not an analytical team. I believe some of that's changed. But then the idea to be able to mature these players is where they struggle the most, because look at the success stories we see. Meadows did fine. Glass. Now the guys they move off of that go to succeed, they've got an internal problem. I don't think they're getting the wrong guys. They just don't know how to develop any of these guys or put them in a place to succeed. Brian Hayes is a guy that needs to succeed. If he were to go in the
Yeah.
next year, he will explode if you were to go to a team like the Cardinals or, whoever, really whoever at this point.
Just another in the long line of disappointments, though. And then the Pittsburgh Pirate fans watching Joe Musgrove pitch to a 1.9 ERA going, what the hell? And I don't blame them. I would be furious if I was them. All right. I'm also furious about the leaderboard for home runs because nobody seems to be able to shake the Night King in the North, who's up to 16 over the weekend. 2 more home runs.
Where is Arya? We need to get rid of this Night King.
Where is Arya Stark when you need her? But yeah, look at the Night King in the North just crushing it. That Fernando Tatis jersey autographed is not going to give away itself. It's still a race. By the way, Mike Mayer's in double digits now, so he's getting real close to the top of that board, which is, even more upsetting. Yeah, let's get to.
We did not get homers, by the way, this weekend, nor you or I.
No, I went with Nolan Gorman. I was trying to have some fun with the kid. Didn't work, but that's all right.
They sat him Saturday for a little bit, so I'm one away. I think I'm one away from double digits.
Well, I've put the crown on, so you know what that means. It's time for some betting pros. It's time for a little bit of BetMGM, the king of sports books. Special offer still going. $10 you bet, you win $200 on any bet, regardless of the outcome, when you sign up using the promo code leading off at betmgm.com or just download the BetMGM app. Again, the king of sports books wants you to be part of the kingdom. So go use that promo code leading off today on BetMGM. I've got over on the 1.5 total bases for Jose Ramirez at plus 133. You're getting Stanton with a great matchup against Jordan Lyles tonight. Same number, 1.5. You're getting a plus 120. You're getting plus 104 on that same 1.5 on Jose Altuve on the total bases. Brian Reynolds, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but plus 130 against Cool Chad. And then Ty France, same thing, plus 150. 1.5 plus 130 for Ty France. Any prop bets that you scooted out there and found that you liked, Mr. Welch?
The number one was that Giancarlo Stanton one. I've also got that plus 120 total bases, 1.5. This is a very good matchup for Stanton. If you're going to play the total base marker, you're going to, you're obviously playing multi hits, or you're going to want to play for a big bopper and just end it in one spot. I love the Ty France one that you have. I really like that one as well at plus 130 over 1.5. The only other one, the strikeout markers, I don't know if I'm in love. They've been getting tougher, especially the different books that you guys
actually,
use.
it's funny you mentioned that, Welsh, because I looked specifically for some pitching ones tonight. Couldn't find anything I liked. It was just a hot mess.
Well, not only are they getting tougher in how they're being placed, they're also moving through the day. I've had multiple guys we've talked about on shows come in, look again, and you're looking at different books, and I'll see a full strikeout ahead, or after an hour, it'll move as people are betting them. So that's becoming tougher. One I do kind of like is I like the Miles Mikolas strikeout marker. It's a low marker. He's not a huge strikeout guy, but I believe 5 of 8 starts, he's hit 5 strikeouts. It's at 5. This is actually contrary to what the Betting Pros cheat sheet wants. They actually kind of like the under. I like the over, which would actually it's minus 145 on the over. So I'm actually not even sure what the plus is going to be here, but 5 strikeouts against Toronto. I'm going to take that one on Miles Mikolas.
All right. Tonight, DFS, keep it simple. We're doing the KISS method here, okay? Just keep it simple, stupid. And I'm stupid being me. Garrett Cole on DK is 10.5. Zach Wheeler is 9.9 going against the Braves, but I'd rather have Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole over his last 19 innings has been 24 Ks, 2 walks, has been ridiculous.
Decent amount of Braves have some good hitting success against Wheeler as well, by the way.
Yeah, so that's it. So stay away from Wheeler's the trap tonight. Go with Garrett Cole and then pair him with either Peterson or Cobb, or do one of each. One of those is going to be right in that Mets-Giants game. And then on FanDuel, just play cash with Garrett Cole. Best Cole lineup wins. Don't get fancy tonight. Stacks tonight, Houston, Minnesota, the Dodgers, the Yankees. And then you're looking at Nolan Gorman, 2K on DK, Peralta, 3.8, Julio at 3.4. Then on FanDuel, David Peralta at 2.6, Gorman at 2.5, Chris Taylor at 2.8, Gleyber Torres at 2.8, and Mike Mayer actually did something useful. Jonathan Scope, 15 for 40, hitting 375 with 6 homers against Chris Archer, and he's just 2.3 on FanDuel, 3.4 on DK. So Jonathan Scope, I'm surprised he didn't make him his home run call. I made Aaron Judge my home run call because nobody could stop that guy. So let's go. And you took the other guy for the same team that I was contemplating taking.
Yeah, I took Giancarlo Stanton. So that's the big one. He has a good track record, especially if you're looking BVP, because Mayer did take Scope, who is the number one. He did. If you go and look at BVP for the day, there's nobody that has a bigger advantage. Scope with those 6 homers. I saw that as well. Stanton, though, has got a close to 500 average against Lyles and there's a decent amount of experience in there. Not a ton of homers, but he's been crushing homers. So I really like Stanton today. I like your Judge one as well. And listen, Scope is just a good play because it's straight BVP for Mayor. So we got some good calls, and very curious to see what the rest of the community has. And you can actually see what everybody has when you have the Discord app and you go into the home run call room where everybody can make their own calls. You can see all the awesome calls by the community.
There you go. And we'll be back tomorrow with 7,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel. Let's go. 30 more people. Let's go. If I don't have it when I come back here tomorrow. Oh, we had it already? Did we hit it?
I was about to say, let's not do a show. Let's not go live until it's
you
hit.
Want to protest? Awesome.
Yeah, we protest. We don't go. If we didn't hit it, we don't go live. We don't go live.
The higher ups might have a problem with that, but we'll see.
Yes.
We shall see. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed the show and you come back for more, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because I like coming to work and I like doing this show, and I know Welsh does too. Bogman will be with us tomorrow, but that'll do it for us. It's you again. That's right. You're getting back to back.
Bogman Friday. Yeah.
Bogman Friday, lots of moving parts. So Welsh may or may not do the show. So look, if you want us back, it's one thing to do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'll do it for us, boys and girls. But the story of the game goes on. For Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.